Good morning. My name is Faith and I'm in grade 7. To celebrate this year's International Women's Day, we have decided to interview successful women like you so that we can learn from your story. Please tell us a little bit about what you do.
I work for a nonprofit organization where I am the vice president and help with somewhat like a principal. I'm responsible for the administration. And I also work with other organizations and help them with Vermont agriculture and with promoting education for sustainability.
I'm a seed system specialist here at IITA for cassava and yams. So I work basically on cassava and yams.
What challenges did you face to get to where you are today?
The challenges are probably recognizing where it's best to work, okay? But the challenges that I have faced are challenges of men and women, okay, not being very cooperative, all right? And quite a number of times you would come across people who are not as polite as they should be, okay? People who don't want to work hard, people who don't want to work hard, that's a challenge, when you are leading something. If you have a person who doesn't want to work hard, then it's a little bit difficult to work with that person. And also, of course, you have I've had some times where people probably they had not liked the fact that I'm a woman and I happen to be leading them and they have to report to me. Okay, so I've had that situation. I've also had the situation where people not from Nigeria having to report to me, and they were also not very happy about that because they were expatriates. And so they were thinking that why should we report to a Black woman?
My greatest challenge was basically learning to value myself when they devalued me, learning to love myself and learning to believe in myself. I think that's been my greatest challenge.
Around the world, there are rules that an African woman has to obey. There are 3 rules. 1, listen and do not speak. Always say yes, don't say no. And people don't really expect you to be successful. So those are the challenges I have faced as a young African scientist, to sit in a world where it is designed for men and to question things, to ask for things to be different, to ask for the world to start to work for the African woman and her needs, the needs for her children, especially in nutrition.
Some of the challenges that I faced was I was not one of the popular kids, because I always tried to do what's right and I always tried to study a lot. And so some of the kids teased me and called me teacher's pet and bullied me, actually. But I still didn't let it keep me from being the best that I could be.
Well, given my background growing up in a big family of mostly women and my background of being educated in an exclusive girls' school from kindergarten to middle school, run by nuns, I interacted with mostly girls and women. So when I landed a job in a male-dominated organization, I found it difficult and challenging to interact with men. It took a while to adjust, but eventually I was able to adjust and became comfortable working with them.
Were you ever laughed at?
Well, I think sometimes people have stereotypes about things and maybe don't take things seriously. So I used to do lots of sports. I used to throw the discus and I used to play rugby. And both of those things are very kind of much associated with boys. And so when I was at university, I was our athletics, our track and field captain. But yeah, I think sometimes people don't take it seriously, particularly women's sport. They don't see it as seriously as they do like the male footballers or the male rugby players or the male athletes. I think is taken a lot more seriously. So that's probably where a I've seen quite a lot of a different attitude, and maybe people didn't take those ambitions very seriously.
You know, the interesting thing was that when we were young, we really, we were not asked about our dreams, as it were. One thing that happened to me as a child was that, honestly, I was good in school, so I was able to do whatever it is that I wanted. Okay, and so I never thought that anything that I would be a challenge. Okay, but what did happen quite early on, you know, not so much as being laughed at, but again, as times when I grew up in. The truth was that my dream was that I wanted to be a geologist. That was who I wanted to be when I was, when I wanted to go to university. But for whatever reason, because himself worked in an oil company, okay? He was so anti me being a geologist, you know. He said things like, which was surprising because he was actually quite progressive for his time, but he just didn't want a geologist because I think probably he had seen the life of geologists close up because he worked in an oil company. And so at that point, I then decided to do something else. But we were not laughed at. Actually, we were encouraged to do whatever it is that we wanted to do and to be whatever it is that we wanted. And so, however, when I was much younger, the of things that are available for people, for children your age, they were not available then. So there were only certain things that it seemed as if women would go into. There were not very many options, as it were. But no, well, for me, I didn't get anybody laughing at. I was encouraged. Was doing.
Always had something that I didn't want to stay in my country, and people did not understand that. So I wasn't laughed at, but it was just not understood that I wanted to travel, I wanted to see the world, because I come from a small village where people didn't really do that. So not really laughed at, but not understood.
Laughed at, no, but I was doubted many times. But what I learned was that it's very important that I believe in myself and I'm persistent, because everybody has their own unique paths, and that's a path that only you can understand. But it's also a friend of mine taught me that I'm never alone. There are always others who are sharing the same interests and same dreams, and finding these people can actually have a huge impact on strengthening your beliefs and ambitions.
Were you treated unfairly because of your gender?
Yes, women have always, at least in the US, not been paid the same as men doing the same job. So yes, there is some unfairness. Even now, people who come into court will treat female judges a little bit differently than they do male judges. And so all I can say is I want to encourage you. I want to encourage you to be the best. Don't be bound by the fact that you're in Africa, because many people would say, but you're in the United States, so you have all that opportunity. The thing is that you need to be the best that you can be where you are. And then if you decide to move or come to another place, all of that you learn, all that you do will follow you.
I had an experience where I was once declined a job because the organization wanted a man for the position. It so happened that the top choice declined the offer, so they came back to me to offer the job. And I took it. I took it and proved to them that I can do the job better. They were happy with my performance and never regretted that they offered the job to me.
No, I would say no. But rather, I've been given a great encouragement. Yes. Instead, what they do is that they encourage me. You understand? So I've been encouraged to always do my best. And if I do my best, that I can achieve my goals. So I would say no, I have not been by any gender.
My bosses were always people that never looked at that. So I wasn't really treated unfairly. Sometimes there are small things. For example, if you are a woman in a meeting and you're the only one, it's often still expected you are the one that takes the minutes. of the meeting, which I find always, I smile a little bit about, because, you know, they come to me because I'm a woman, not because I'm the one that maybe takes good minutes or not. So there are little things, but they are not really, you cannot really point them out.
Yeah.
What plans do you have to help other females succeed?
Well, I advise women and girls to be brave and strong and confident and dream big. Don't think of success as just earning a lot of money, getting paid high salary, or, you know, getting credited and rewarded for what you do. Think of success as being passionate and happy with what you do, whether you are recognized or not. After all, you define your own happiness and success and not other people.
The plans I have for females, especially the young ones who are just coming up to succeed, for them to first know what you want to do. And once you are convinced of what you want to do, what you want to become, the career you want to follow, then you will be interested in it, you'll be dedicated to it, you'll be committed to it. So I will tell ladies, be committed to your jobs, be dedicated to your job, be honest, and then you earn the integrity, and that puts you on plateau of God.
It's all about believing in yourself and thinking about all the possibilities that you have. So I think when I was 17, 18, I didn't realize how many possibilities I had, and I didn't know what my options were, or I didn't really know what I wanted to do. And I felt like a lot of my friends had a really clear plan of what they wanted to do. But I think if I could go back now, I'd say to myself, don't worry so much. You have so many possibilities. And the key thing is that you have those skills that you develop, so you can think for yourself, and you can be a communicator, and all of those things in the learner profile that we talk about, you know, being a thinker and being a communicator, and that will set you up then. So the key thing is to develop those skills, and then just to believe in yourselves, and you can do anything that you want to do.
I believe in empowerment, Aramide, especially in the kind of world we're living in today. If women cannot empower fellow women and let them know that, you know, the road to success might be rocky, might be rough, but that they can succeed. Support them, mentor them, talk to them, encourage them, let them know, you know, that their own self-worth lies in themselves and not in anybody else. I keep on going back to mindset, okay? It's about, because your mind is a very, very, very powerful tool. Your mind will tell you whether or not you're going to be a success or a failure, you know? Yeah. And you need to listen to yourself, and you need to have a positive mindset. So my role as a female leader in education is, I pay attention to everybody, male and female, but I must admit, I pay extra special attention to the women, and I support them, I encourage them, I mentor them, I talk to them. And I assure them that, you know what, if they want to achieve, or rather whatever they want to achieve, they can achieve. But it takes hard work. It takes dedication. It takes focus.
So in IITA, we don't have enough women. You know, we are supposed to have 40% of the staff should be women, but only like 27% is. So we are looking in hiring more women by putting under every job application saying that we especially want women to apply. We also realize that sometimes women, they have more responsibilities. You know, they don't only have their job, they have to take care of their families, they have children, they look after, and often that is a women responsibility. So what we have done in IT is also having crashes, other childcare facilities, and also we did this work-life balance policy so that we make it possible for women to maybe do part-time work or do flexible work. And then, of course, I try to set an example. As you know, you don't have to show you are the same leader as a man. You have your own qualities, which is personal, but also maybe more female. And just set an example and hope others will follow that.
I have 3 plans. One, I am a mother of boys. I help my children understand that in this world that works for men, they have to be champions for women, starting with their mother. Number 2, as a scientist in a world that very few women choose science, I take my time to mentor young women to succeed in science. And 3 is my work as a nutritionist. By focusing on women and children, I'm able to grow the potential for women and their children to do well in Africa.
One of the ways that I can help is by how I choose to live my life and how I choose to be a leader. So I think one of the ways is that I'm committed to being and demonstrating for others, both girls and boys and women and men, that to be a leader, it's important to be open-minded and to listen. And also that as a leader that you can not always know the answers, and that you can get to a better place and make better decisions if you work as a team.
The site I manage now, I use it as a training ground. And what I mean by that is when I recruit people, I mentor them. And when I feel that they're ready, I push them out and bring someone else in. I work for my staff. Even though I'm the supervisor, the superintendent, my job is to help them develop. My job is to help them on the path to pursue their dreams. So that includes training, exposure, mentoring. It's very important as a leader to surround yourself with people that are strong when you are weak. And it's good to know what your weaknesses are. So I am not afraid to have someone in my environment that are more knowledgeable than myself. So I bring people in and then help them to develop and put them on their way.